Rockers. It's your back porch commentators coming to you from somewhere in Missouri, where a firm handshake means more than your signature, and a cold drink can help solve almost any problem. That's what we're planning to do here, bring you along on our journey to the answers to life's questions. You'll get a few facts and a lot of opinions, but remember, we're probably intoxicated and definitely full of shit. So pull up a chair and settle in while we explore some of those most thought-provoking questions, like why is a man bun a thing? Hey everybody, welcome back for episode 28 of B&J On The Rocks, and we're here drinking some Jameson tonight.
Yeah.
And a little Irish whiskey. We haven't done Irish whiskey yet, have we?
No, we haven't. I thought and that's like you were talking about. We were gonna do the Jameson with International Men's Day, which was actually November 19, I believe. Yeah, but we've had a little delay thanks to COVID, like everybody else. So it is what it is. But we did get some solid episodes in there.
We got a couple,
yeah. Two 2-hour episodes.
It might have taken you a bit to catch up. So maybe a little break was needed.
Yeah.
I did notice our views jumped up a little bit while there was nothing out there. So people were kind of catching up, I think. That's good.
We appreciate that.
Yeah. And maybe we'll, I don't know, I would say we'll slow it down tonight and only get an hour in, but we'll see, right?
What happens, happens.
What happens. So, speaking of the International Men's Health,
right?
When you mentioned Jameson, I was like, that's perfect, because one man who was very influential in my life was my uncle,
right? And
he died of colon cancer. So Men's Health, and his drink of choice was Jameson.
Really?
That was pretty much all he drank.
Yeah.
And
everybody's got their flavor, right?
Yeah. So I asked my cousin. I was like, how did he drink it? I'm pretty sure straight, but I want to make sure. He said, yep, pretty much straight, maybe a little bit of water. That was it, usually straight. I was like, all right, well, I will have the first one straight. In honor of Doug. And here's to
Doug.
Doug.
There you go. The thing is, most of that older generation did drink it straight with a splash of water.
Yeah.
So, and also, if you ever watch those bourbon things, you can actually see how good of a whiskey it is on the side of the glass. What do they call it? The legs. The legs is what they call it. When you can swirl it, like with wine and stuff, when you swirl liquor and sticks on the the viscous.
Watered down just a little bit, But
it's definitely a little rougher around the edges than some of the stuff we've tried.
Yeah.
Which is Irish in general.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
It's a little bit rough. Yeah.
So, but we did miss International Men's Health Day, which I have talked about on here before, and I think anybody who's listened to us more than once or twice has probably picked up on my growth in the red pill sector. Probably it's personal life experiences. That's where that comes from.
Well, and somebody's got to advocate for men's health. I mean, it ain't gonna be the women.
And I'm right. and I'm not saying, I'm not here to be like white middle-aged men are the most. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm just it kind of feels like in this day and age, if you're a white middle-aged male, because of everybody else trying to gain whatever, we're not allowed to have opinions.
Sit down, shut up.
Yeah.
Go to work.
And if you want equality, let's have equality, but that doesn't mean oppressing anybody.
Right.
So, and the other thing that I do want to say along with that is, just because you are segregating yourself to a group, for no other phrase to use it as, is segregating. I hate to use that word, segregating, but it seems to be. It seems to be with everybody still ones. They want to talk equality and desegregation, but at the same time they're segregating themselves by classifying themselves as whatever.
But don't touch my group.
Right,
you know,
right.
This
whole of what were they saying? about hairstyles or whatever they were, and I'm like, look, if you
appropriating culture,
right,
all that,
like, if you're so worried about maintaining that, then you can't claim.
Right.
It's one or the other.
Right.
And that's really the greatest part about appropriation, is because then everybody.
That's how you learn.
That's how you appreciate culture.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly.
Appropriate, appreciate.
Right.
Hey.
It's the same thing. I'm not taking it away from you. I'm saying what you're doing is awesome, and I want to share in that with you.
Yeah. No,
I don't know. It seems like everybody's too damn worried about that. And honestly, at the same time, I don't give a shit what the hell you do. Like, as long as you don't affect my bubble. As long as you're not taking away from me anything, I don't give a shit what you do. I don't give a shit if you're black, yellow, Asian. I don't care if you got a dick, 2 dicks, 3 dicks, a set of tits. I don't give a shit. Hell, if you got 3 tits and a set of dicks, I might invite you to a party just to put on the sideshow. I don't give a fuck. Grow a mustache while you're in there.
That reminds me of that Louis C.K. bit where he's like, some guy pulled up beside me and he's like, suck a bag of dicks. He's like, a bag of dicks?
A bag of dicks?
Like the whole bag, or like suck the bag itself with the dicks?
I'm going to need some Carmex before we start this. My lips are going to be chapped.
It's like, not that I wouldn't, I guess, but yeah. But let's specify.
You know, one time I actually pushed a woman away. Yeah, she was going off about something. I was like, well, what if I'm, bisexual? She's like, that's disgusting. I'm like, I'm just saying, if you're not okay. Yeah, I was desperate. Got out of it. And now I pull that, and girls are usually like, okay,
you're like,
whatever.
I already told you I was a murderer. You were okay with that.
You don't dress well enough.
You're
I'm
like, no, I can fix him.
Project.
Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm on the Home and Garden Network wearing a turtleneck with frosted hair tips.
You sit between Martha Stewart and Snoop Dogg.
Yes.
Talk about expert level.
Oof. I don't know, man. Like I said, I am all about that, but at the same time.
No, I agree. I totally agree. And speaking of, we've talked several times about, how if you want to change, then
Change
your
bubble.
Right. And that's one thing I learned from Doug was he grew up in Maryville, went to college out in Wyoming, moved back to the area, and moved into Tarkio, and started a pharmacy up there, and then Tarkio's small enough, everybody knows everybody,
right?
And ended up, building, that town up so much, through his influence there, and the town kind of like really embraced him in his time of need, because of everything he had done for them all those years, and it's like, that's, I guess what we all want,
right?
Is, if you affect enough people in your life, then you've done your job.
Right. As long as you're not infecting enough
No.
people. The funny thing though is, I was up at Gibson's garage the other day bullshitting, and
thanks for all the emails, guys.
Yeah, spending some money in there, and always
got a line of credit.
I gotta get some frequent flyer miles or something, maybe. Matt, if you could look into that, that'd be great. Get some punch cards set up or something. No, but
they lose money.
On my ass, yeah. Anyway, so I was in there bullshit, and we were talking, and it's kind of like community, is based on the word communication.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to communicate in your community to make it work as a whole, and now we've got the easiest thing in the world to communicate with people. And while it's great, we talk to people that we keep in touch with people that in the past we've high school friends or college friends or family and shit like that. But now you don't talk to your neighbor.
Right.
You don't participate in your local surroundings. You don't. So I've owned my business for 5 years in town now. Like I've done it for 12. I took over.
Yeah.
Well, no. 7 years. 7 years. Oh, Jesus Christ, it flies. So I've done it for 12 years. I've taken over for 7. And somewhere there in the process, I've never once had the Chamber of Commerce approach me. Now, in a town of 5,500 people,
wow,
you would think they would try to embrace every damn business they could.
yeah.
But I'm not in that circle. So I guess my
Is
feeling.
another oil company.
Oh hell, they're out of city limits now.
Are they?
Yeah, but they probably got out.
They were like,
They probably got out for that reason alone,
Yeah.
but city taxes and stuff. But anyways, it's like whenever it goes down in flames, I'm just gonna sit there and teabag their glasses.
Well, you know, nothing really irritates me more than when we go out to dinner or something, and you see a group of people, and it doesn't matter. I've seen it from kids up to people in their 60s, you know.
Right.
And they'll be sitting there at the table with a group of people, and all of them
Or on their
are
phones.
phone. And I'm like, oh my God, you're
You get
missing...
together for dinner and you.
Yeah.
You're talking to
Who
the
are you
same
talking
people
to? I mean,
that you've been talking to all
You're talking
day.
to-
Yeah.
I'm like, God. So, I really, and I guess I'm more of a hard ass than my wife is because I'm
That's
like,
usually dad's role. And
yeah, I'm like, let's leave the phones in the car.
Right.
You know, how about if you pull out your phone, you put $1 toward the meal.
Right.
You know, oh, we can't do that. No,
Yeah, we can.
Oh, yeah.
My
We
grandma
can.
charged a quarter for burps and 50 cents for farts.
Yeah.
Tell you what, you learn. The cork it.
Could you imagine if you had been sitting at Thanksgiving dinner with something like this in front of you?
Oh God. You know,
Yeah.
and the funny thing is they say that's part of what's dating, like ruin the dating cycle,
Oh, yeah.
is because
I'm
people
sure.
will talk all day long, texting, messaging, whatever, and it comes time for date, and they're like, I'd rather Netflix and stay in my sweatpants.
Yeah.
We'll just continue to talk,
Right.
but I don't actually want to take the time to get dressed, go out and interact with you.
I'll just swipe right. I'm a stud.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And as a dude, for us, it's like, should we spend the money washing our balls, putting on nice clothes, washing the truck, putting gas in it, whatever, going and picking out a date, you pay for dinner, movie, or I could get on Pornhub, look up exactly what I want, bust a nut, and I'm still going to go to the bar with my buddies afterwards, because that whole cycle with cleanup included is going to take 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have zero money invested.
Yeah.
I don't have to hear about whining or bitching or moaning or
Yeah.
entertain, gossip. Yeah, that's another thing with men. Like I was reading, and I'd heard this before, but with women at the end of their day, their venting process is to talk about everything. And we as men, when we wake up in the morning, we're the most communicative and receptive when our testosterone's high. So after we've rested and our testosterone's high in the morning, that's when we're the most efficient. And as far as that stuff goes, by the end of the night, how we reset is by turning everything off. We don't want to talk. We don't want to focus. We just want to recharge and go to bed and whatever. And it's so damn funny that God has made us, or however you want to look at it, men and women. Like we complete each other, but at the same time, we are so completely damn different as far as our needs and our moods. And they were saying that women's hormonal cycles go on a monthly, which is, if anybody's been with a female for any length of time, you know it is a monthly cycle. And when you know a woman for over about 6 months probably, you really learn. I dated a girl one time when she would feel warm, like we'd go to bed and I'd be like, God, you're toasting. And I'd be like, no, she's ovulating.
Really?
Oh, yeah. There was one girl that about the week before, she'd start picking fights all the time. I was like, oh, you're close to your period. How do you know that? Gee, I don't fucking know. You just picked a fight over an adverb that I used, you know? Like, an adjective that I improperly punctuated. The fuck are you fighting about? But, but men's hormone cycles go in. Yeah, right. The men's hormone cycles go in days as opposed to,
I'm good.
Which makes sense with the testosterone.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Take a rib my ass.
I obviously have not dated in the new
Right.
technology era. So
Miss Malin.
right. Maybe not.
No, you're not.
I look at dating, very differently. I think because we don't get out much, especially just me and her.
Right.
So to me, like the getting ready and dressing up and getting everything out, getting out and that, like, I look forward to that more than anything that happens at the end of the night.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like I just like that, I guess.
The change of pace,
experience of it, I guess. Yeah, I couldn't date now, I don't think.
I would say dating now would be kind of like a game of Monopoly. You get bored with it, and it's a never-ending fucking cycle, and you wonder if it'll ever end. And sooner or later, you end up giving
finally
it
just
up.
flip the board over and go, fuck it.
Fuck it.
Get out.
You win. I'm out.
I'm done.
And that's, I think everybody, both genders,
I'll
are
be
kind
in
of
the
the
bathroom.
point with dating. But at the same point, we're our own worst enemy when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Whatever. International Men's Day. Look it up. There's plenty of things. I've talked about it before. I've listed off the list.
We talked about a couple episodes.
I just think it's really important that men start to realize maybe we're meant to do something other than provide.
Yeah.
And plant a seed.
Yeah.
And then continue to provide.
Well, there was speaking of something along those lines, there was a TikTok you sent me. I think it was TikTok. It was something about the girl was saying, what was it? I forget how she was wording it, but it was kind of like the standards are low or setting the bar.
Right. I remember that one.
Yeah, and he was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "We're expected to do, go out and make the money.
Providers.
We're providers. We,
Yep.
the strong ones, and we do this and this, And he's like, and then on top of that, if we don't meet any of those things, or one of those things,
any one of those
things,
right?
You're gone.
Yeah, we're supposed to be fiscal providers, emotional stability providers. Yeah. We're supposed to be, what's the word I'm looking for? For our kids, we're basically supposed to be the enforcers.
Yeah.
But also supposed to be sensitive to our children, sensitive to a woman's needs. But we're not supposed to put up with their bullshit. We're supposed to put our foot down when necessary. We're supposed to, and I'm not saying that women's roles are any different, but what I'm saying is, since feminism, women are like, well, my roles are our roles, but you as a man still have your roles.
Right.
Like, you're supposed to help out with the housework and the cooking and the cleaning. Otherwise, you're not, a rounded man. But I'm not checking my oil. I'm not,
Right.
I mean, how many women are like, I look at me, I'm a woman, hear me roar, and then they come to you and they're like, can you schedule an appointment for my car?
Yeah.
Well, honey, you just told me that you're an independent woman and you have your master's degree, but you can't call a tire shop and schedule an appointment for your tire going wah wah wah.
What's it doing again?
Wah wah wah.
Could you come in here and show us that?
Yeah. Wah wah wah.
Like I said, I've seen that in other relationships, not my own.
Right.
Just in case she makes it to episode 28.
She won't stab you in your sleep.
Not my.
How can you test ethyl glycol? You can't.
Yeah. No, something else I was going to say. How we're so different. Like you said, how, by the time we're at the end of the day, we're unwinding. We need everything shut off.
Right.
And that's when women want to unload, right?
Right.
And we, opposites. I think, as advice to men, if you can handle it, you can handle it. We got some younger ones. But I understand how you want to be and how we are wired to be, right? But the woman doesn't really need a lot of response out of you.
She just wants you to listen.
She just wants you to listen. Or
Right.
at least perceive that you're listening.
Right.
So I think we could do it for the 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever, however long it takes her to use up all those words, right?
Right.
To kind of get. And then when that's over, you're done for the night.
The problem with my thought process in that is I understand that, but every once in a while a man needs to go. Because here's the thing. That's why ultimately they say most men have affairs. This is because they don't feel respected. It's because they don't feel their needs are being met. And sometimes a man should have the right to go, look, I know you've had a hard day and you need to unload, but right now, I just don't want to talk about it.
Right.
And that's okay as a man to have some mental health awareness to go.
Yeah.
You don't have to shoulder everybody's shit. And I feel like as men, that's what we're taught to do. We're supposed to shoulder everything and
suppress all of your own.
suppress all of your own.
Yeah.
And that's why men develop drinking
anger.
problems. That's why we have anger problems. That's why we get on a motorcycle and go 90 miles an hour when we don't need to. And I hate to say that because ultimately, even me saying it, I feel like I'm being a whiny bitch saying, I have needs too. No. But that's all.
It's part of the whole thing.
If you don't relieve, that's why men die before women. It's because they want to.
That shit just builds up eventually.
Eventually it just goes.
And then you're done.
Yeah, it just plugs the pipe and then, the septic tank overflows and then you got nowhere to go. So.
That ain't no shit.
And I'm not saying that females or males issues aren't either way. I'm just saying that sometimes both parties need to be appreciative of the other side.
Well, and let's hope that it's not every day
that
she has to unload. Because
boy,
that's on you.
there is sometimes. I'm thinking of one in particular. It was like she bitched about shit at work every day. And while I got that, I'm like, if you're so damn unhappy, just find another fucking job.
Right. There's other jobs.
Like, holy shit balls. I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
And the names of your people that you're using, I don't know. Because if I don't meet somebody face to face, I'm probably not going to remember their name. That's how I function.
Yeah. And here's the thing. What you should have asked her is, describe to me the job that you did like.
Right.
If there wasn't one, what's the common denominator?
Right. Yeah. Just saying.
Maybe you could change your attitude about it.
I don't know, man. And I get it. I bitch about work because work is like, if I'm awake, work's on my mind.
Yeah.
Because I'm self-employed.
Because
it's what I do.
90% of what you do.
Right. It's like, if it wasn't for my son, I'd close businesses. I'd go build a hut on a beach and I would like Red and Andy sand boats. Like Shawshank Redemption, like I can't wait to see my friend again. Like I'd just be out there sanding boats.
Yeah.
I don't even know. In a linen shirt or whatever, with cargo khaki pants, some shit. I'd sell surfboards. I don't give a shit. As long as it was warm and I seen Hooters every once in a while and there was liquor around, I'd be content.
Yeah.
I mean, what's going to happen if you get cancer? You just keep drunk and enjoy the sunshine until you croak off. You have a heart attack, you die on the beach looking at Hooters and drunk.
Yeah.
How else you want to go?
I just saw a great sunset.
Yeah. Way to go, man.
Speaking of music, there's a Roger Krager song about that exact thing.
Really?
I think it's called Wanna Wanna Bar.
I'm going to look that one up.
Yeah.
It's
a good song. It's about a guy that goes through like a few different relationships and how, this woman took all this and this woman took this and, and now he's stuck in Wanna Wanna, the beachfront bar. Yeah. Darn.
Sounds like a bad deal to me.
It's like,
I'd suffer through it.
Poor guy.
Yeah. I mean, when I reach a certain point in Jackson Road, I will probably sell everything and just be like, you know what? I don't have to continue to make this amount of money to be happy.
Right.
And son, I taught you a work ethic, right? Son, I taught you a work ethic. Go out and build your own shit. And I'll tell you what, if I die early and there's anything left, you're going to get it. But if I live till I'm 90 and I spend it all, I've left you with a work ethic.
Yeah.
There you go.
Give a man a fish, feed him for a day.
Right.
Teach a man to fish, he eats for life.
Right.
You know.
Give him a woman that smells like fish and hopefully she'll cook for him. Wait. No, that's wrong. That's fucked up.
Just don't put her in the microwave.
Yeah, oh, God, that got humid quick. That's gonna stain the paint.
Speaking of dating in the 21st century.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna use names in this
We
story.
don't even need to go there.
No, I'm not gonna. So
I can cut anything.
one of the offices. No, we're gonna leave this one in. One of the offices I delivered to had a female clerk there that was discussing the fact that she'd had chlamydia 3 or 4 times. We don't remember what she said, and it wasn't that bad except for the smell. And then
I don't mind the chlamydia so much, Father.
Yeah.
But the smell.
So it gets worse, and I'm not going to use names, but somebody I am associated with in a work-friendly manner is now porking this girl. And I gently tried to sway this gentleman away, but he refrained from listening because, as we all know, we've been dick stupid before.
Now he's...
And now he's and I'm like, okay, here's the thing. If you meet a girl and she's openly discussing the fact that she has had chlamydia.
Right.
Okay, one time it's like,
you want to go in?
That can happen to the best of us. One time that can happen to the 2 times it's like, you should probably be more careful. 3 and 4 times it's like, okay, you just a hoe.
It ain't hurt
You just a hoe, honey. Like I don't know what to tell you. And here's the other part. If you are single in this world and you are dating a woman at our age that has a child, okay, if she is putting you before her child, you do not want to be with that woman. Because when you get into a serious relationship, she will not put you as the male in her life above her own selfish wants. Which means if you're having a bad time in your relationship, whoever's giving her attention at work or that she bumps into that makes her feel prettier than you do that day, she will be gone.
Yep.
I would rather have a woman go, I cannot hang out with you. I have to go home to my kid.
Right. Great.
Good for you.
Good for the kids.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. If you do end up with that woman also and she's not parenting, that means you're going to have to deal with that spoiled ass little shit of a kid. At 25,
you're the babysitter now.
Pooping out another kid at 18 or some shit like that, or 17, and you're going to be a grandpa at like 40. You know what I'm saying?
And I love babies, but
yeah. Babies and puppies are kind of like, they're awesome.
Yeah.
If you can send them, if done right, and you can send them home, or if you can send them home at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie to you. As a male, if I see a kid, I don't think, oh, that's cute. If a kid is like cute as a button, but still a pain in the ass, I'm like, that is a fucking devil child. Get it the fuck away from me. I don't have a nurturing side. I have to nurture my nurturing side to come out as a man.
Well, I have learned that any, I always thought, oh, kids are so cute.
Right.
And then I realized, no, I think my kids are cute.
Right.
Other kids, I don't
really care about.
They're cute for like a minute or two.
Like, and you care about like your friends' kids.
Go find your mother.
Like your kids, I would be like totally decent to.
Right.
I would not want to see anything bad ever happen to them because as a friend, I care about you, which means I accept you and your family as well.
Right.
That's part of it.
And like nieces and nephews. And all
right.
That. Right.
Not a problem.
But my kids are better. To me.
Right. No, I get it.
And your kids are better to you. Right. I get it.
You have to remember sometimes that you got to step outside the parenting box and go, okay, what's my kid doing that maybe might be driving everybody else shit crazy? Yeah. You got to be open and intelligent enough to accept that. Definitely. Don't be that parent that's like, my child's perfect. No.
Well, here's how in tune with that I am. When I am driving by myself, I cannot get the radio loud enough. Like,
Right.
it doesn't matter. I can turn it up all the way. The speakers are blowing.
Right.
And it's not loud enough for Chuck Berry, right?
I get it. Been there.
My wife gets in the car, and it doesn't matter how low it is. I'm like, it's too loud. It's too loud.
Yeah.
And I'm always turning it down.
Right.
I'm like, why am I always in tune with what might bother someone else? You know,
I get it.
I was always embarrassed when my friends would say something stupid in front of my parents.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, fuck. And then it's like, does that affect me? Does that make me look bad?
Right.
Or just them? I don't know. And so, same with my kids. When my kids would do something, and they'd be like, oh, no. Come on, let's go do
Yeah,
let's go over here and do this.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I've had that conversation
Right.
with Jack too. So yeah, I get that. But I think that's why we're friends. Because Josh and I had talked about that here a while back one time. Because everybody's always like, why are you two so close? 38 years, you're opposites. And I was talking to Josh, and I was like, honestly, I think it's because of the amount of respect and consideration that we show each other.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to come over here and shit my living room floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, depends on how many edibles I have, honestly. But, you know, it's like there's that amount of consideration and mutual respect of whatever. And when you find other people that respect that in return, you think, oh, I got to make this work.
Yeah.
You know, other than that, I'd probably be a hermit.
Right.
Because I can't stand people.
You're lucky we met when we were young.
I'm a fucking narcissist. I don't give a shit what you think about me. I'm better than you are. And anybody I've dated can attest to that.
Oh yeah, he's better. He's better. Like a gangbang. I'll cut it out.
I'm not worried about it.
Anyway.
I don't know, man.
I don't know if I'm going to get around to that beer tonight, but
there's always next time.
There's always next time. Yes.
Where are we setting that time-wise, sir?
Only 30. Well, it's 40 minutes past there, so 30.
So we're doing it. We're not hitting 2 hours yet.
We're still good. The night is young. The night is young. I'm ready for glass number 2 about. This is almost just water at this point.
I don't know why I randomly thought about this, but did I ever tell you about the girl I dated who had a freckle on her butthole and I named it Frank?
It sounds familiar, but
you never want to use that as foreplay. Like, let's be frank. Let's be frank. Woo!
Hey, Frank.
Frank had a shitty day.
Come here often?
She goes, I do not have a freckle on my butthole. I was like, well, was that or a dingleberry? What? I'm an asshole.
And it didn't taste like shit. Not too bad, anyway.
I tried to lick it off. It wasn't coming.
They're heading up for legs track.
It didn't come off with my tongue, and it didn't come off with friction in my shaft, so I don't...
Frank is stuck.
Little ditty about Frank and my dick.
Do you have a name for your dick?
Do I have a name for my dick? I don't... Stubby? No, I don't think... you know, every time...
You don't have to be honest.
Harry and the Hendersons? Maybe? Big Sam and the Twins?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So there could be a medium there, you know? You got Frank.
Frank and the Tank.
Frank and the Tank. There you go. Frank the Tank.
That'd be interesting. You know what else that I really thought of randomly the other day, right?
That's all
It would be fun to hear people's perception of us as people.
Oh God.
After listening to the podcast now for 28 episodes, or watching it on YouTube, whatever, to send in their thoughts of us as people and compare, because it would be nice to see.
Write a backstory for us.
No, please don't. Feel free not to include your names. Just anonymous.
Yeah.
Maybe would be better for everybody. No, I think it'd be fun to see what people are
You probably
perceiving
noticed
as.
some of them were.
Oh yeah.
This is quite accurate.
Be damned. Somebody knew I had a gigantic penis.
Frank wrote in.
Yeah. Oh, shit. He just kept spitting in my face the whole. I think it would be fun just to see people's perception of us, not only maybe knowing us, but some of them not, maybe not as well, And,
don't know me,
and just
outside of this,
just seeing what they think, because I think it's always fun, because you ever get to know somebody and they're like, I didn't know you,
right.
blah blah blah. I didn't, and it's like,
oh, honestly, if half of my family listened to this, they'd be like, John talks that much? That's what his voice sounds like.
The fuck is
He
that?
usually just sits in the corner and laughs and
I
drinks.
thought he had his larynx removed. I thought he had a smokeless golf box.
I thought he could only sing. That's why he did it.
Yeah, I thought he stuttered the rest of the
No
time.
tells. Merry Christmas. Speaking of Christmas,
Yeah,
we were going to do our
the dirty songs.
original Christmas song. I don't know if we're going to get that done or not. 'Cause it's December.
I think it would be fun to just impromptu.
Impromptu, we could do that.
Yeah, maybe we could have, people
You're
texting.
really good at impromptu.
That's because I'm a mouthy fuck. That's basically.
Yeah, send us titles and we'll just create
We'll just
songs
go
on the
for
fly.
do a Facebook Live maybe or something.
Yeah, well, that'd be fun.
Jack, we were driving around the other day, and that's something we do together. Is just randomly, make up songs to songs on the radio, and somehow it got changed to "A Fart Rolled Down My Pant Leg." I don't remember what song it was, but of course it makes him laugh because boys love fart jokes.
Right.
So that's what we went with. And of course, I reiterate: don't do this in front of your mother, in front of girls. Don't take this to school. This is just in the car, me and you. And he tends to be pretty good about that. So yesterday,
you had that conversation with
yeah.
This is just in the car.
It was just in the car, just me and you. I don't know you outside of here. I'm gonna tuck and roll. You're gonna go. I'll slow down to 25. Call an Uber.
Roll the ring doorbell, let her land in the yard.
Aren't you glad I only let you order the salad? You're gonna have a long walk. That's horrible. Christ. Yesterday I was working and I noticed as I got into the tank wagon, I kind of heard a stitch stretch in my jean crotchal region, and I looked down and there was a pinhole in my pants, like it had started to come unraveled. So I finished delivering fuel for the day. I go straight to the mail route. I take off from there. By my third stop at Conception, I stepped up into the truck and it just goes, and I was like, I looked down and it had ripped one way. By the time I made it to Maryville, it ripped at a 90-degree angle down the other way about 4 inches. If I had not making the life choice to wear underwear that day, my balls would have been hanging out.
You wore underwear?
Yeah, right? It was chilly that day, and I was like, I better suit up for this.
Right.
And luckily they were boxer briefs. But yeah, my balls would have been just hanging out. And so on the way home, I stopped and said goodnight to Jack at his mom's house, And I said, hey, Jack, I was like, you remember the song we were singing the other day? And he was like, yeah, about the fart. He's like, how does a fart roll down your pant leg? He couldn't figure it out. And I was like, well, this is what happens when a fart rolls down.
Found its way out.
And he thought that was so damn funny. He's like, is that really what happened? I was like,
sure.
Yeah. I was like, well, with your dad's fat ass squeezing into these 31 waist jeans still, yeah, that's what happened.
You're still wearing 31s.
I've made the life choice that if my inseam is less than my waist, I have to start starving myself.
Oh.
So I'm right at that 31, 32 line. And some people might disagree with that if they're walking behind me.
I guess I'll start starving.
You kind of look like you cried inside a little bit right then. You're like,
Wait a second.
That's
me.
Why do you always have to hit home with these comments?
I don't give a shit.
I just never want to be wider than I am tall. That's my...
Right.
I mean, my dick is already thicker than it is long, so it's like...
You know, it's crazy, though, when you go to... So it's hard to find my pant size because I'm big and tall, you know?
Right.
But the big and tall store is like tall,
Big,
you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Jesus, I'm like at this
No,
weird, like, size.
Oh, I get
could
that.
find like 2 pairs of jeans in the whole town, you know?
My stomach's a large t-shirt. My arms and my chest are medium. I totally get what you're saying.
Exactly. Yep. So it's like, fuck, man. As long as I can still like go to the next size and it's like, you know, this big around and this long, and I'm like, Jesus, who the fuck is this guy? Fucking
Herbert
Danny
Hoover.
DeVito, yeah.
our 29th president or whatever.
Yeah. Or Rolling
Taft.
going down. I'm like, Jesus, I feel alright about myself. I can always find someone bigger than me. That's my goals.
That's
Always
why,
have a friend that's bigger.
that's why I quit going to swinger parties, because there's always somebody
There's
bigger.
somebody bigger.
I really started to feel
Were you
bad
ever in the
about
middle? Were
myself.
you ever like the smallest then, or?
I started to feel bad when everybody was bigger.
Let's get the warm up guy in here.
It was like PE showers in 7th grade all over again.
Yeah. And watch Snuffleupagus.
Even the Asian kid. When even the Asian kid's laughing at you, it's a
Fuck.
oh, you're real funny, tall man.
That was bad.
That's fucked up.
We've only alienated like half of our audience probably tonight. I don't know.
That's how I show I care.
Yeah. Hey, we're talking about you.
Yeah. I get the most entertainment of when we just randomly bullshit.
Yeah.
And I hope everybody else enjoys it as much as I do.
Yeah, that's
As
what
opposed
this is
to
all about.
yeah.
That's what it's all about.
So, touch on the political surface here. What are your thoughts on this whole, how our election's going? Is at this point of December the 9th.
Here's my thing.
Yeah, you can put it away.
The spectacle.
The spectacle. You finished that out
Yeah.
nicely.
The show
Right.
that we've had for the last few years just continues. And can it get any more entertaining at this point?
Entertainment is a very loose term for what I'd use for
The
it.
hearing with did you watch any of that?
No, I've seen clips. That was enough.
I was like, okay, fine. I want to say, show the evidence.
Right.
I don't care if either way. Show the evidence.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen things.
If it's there,
Right.
show it and let's get it over with.
It seems like a lot of talk both ways, but so I was watching literally Irish political commentator. Okay.
Okay.
And this guy was going off about like why the hell won't the U.S. just wake up that every time they've had this. Somebody in this seat that is upsetting the standard, they've knocked them out. And to get yes men in the situation. And I'm kind of like, that's generally speaking, though, at this point in our country, how all politics work. Whether you're the president or a congressman, the money flow has to go somewhere, and they want somebody sitting in that chair that they can puppet.
Right.
Because ultimately, we as voters don't control this country anymore.
No.
It's money. And it's always been, even clear back to when there was kings and queens and noblemen were financing these reigns, and
Right.
that's what it's always been about. So, unless you want to go old school revolution, dump the tea bags in the water and poke,
And I've
some
seen these
redcoats.
people talking about the revolution. They ain't getting very far.
No.
On either
And
side.
it would be difficult to do that again on any kind of upset, because the monster we've created is so big, and you're not going to track it down, because if you go into its home and attack it, there are 14 different ways for it to get out.
Yeah.
I mean, there's money from every point of view. There's control from every point of view. It's just...
And we've talked about this before. That,
Right.
I mean, years ago we talked about this, that it almost needs to burn down.
Right.
And
To
start
do a
over.
hard reset.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna lose all the memory on your radio stations, and,
Right.
and your clock's not gonna be saved. But you need to unplug the battery.
And you're going to get used to walking for a while.
Right.
You better learn to garden.
It's just, and no, I'm still at that point. And I think anybody that's got any common sense would tell you, if you want to change anything this big at this point, you're gonna have to burn it down. And
Yeah.
And I would, that being said, I love our country,
Yeah.
but I think we've lost our way a little bit.
Yeah.
Whatever side you're on, whoever you're rooting for to win.
Well, yeah. I mean,
It's-
we're
it's-
left with these two choices.
Right, but it's been that way, like we've talked about, for
For
our
ever,
voting
for
life.
us. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But even clear back to look at Kennedy, he was upsetting the system to such a point.
Yeah.
And we'll never have the answers of what happened there. Maybe it was just one guy going a little loony. But I'll tell you what,
Sure.
if you watch anything, you would have to be a hell of a marksman
Yeah.
to fire off, re-aim, and fire off again, re-aim, and fire off again
Yeah.
at a moving motorcade. It's just, it would be very difficult. So whatever happened that day, we will never know.
Right.
But it is kind of funny that every president that starts to upset the balance of shit and do his own thing, as opposed to listening to the powers that be, gets knocked out somehow. At least it's by vote this time. Think of it that way.
Yeah. There's worse ways to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But now we get to keep listening to him for 4 years.
If he gets
Because
in.
he's still the voice of the party.
Oh, yeah.
He's already talking about starting his 2024 campaign.
Really?
So, I mean, he's already holding rallies and stuff. It's
Well,
like,
that would be interesting to see, I suppose. I don't.
At least Obama disappeared for a while.
They have made.
He's come back.
Every time there's a system upset like this, that we get thrust into some kind of a conflict,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be, Vietnam or Iraq, or because Gore and Bush, same thing, all the voter fraud in Florida, and blah blah blah, whatever, and you look back over history, every time that's upset, so we ended up in conflict. So it would be interesting to see if that proved to be true again. I'd hate to see that, but we're past the draft age anyway, so. Of course, your son's getting to that age where he's going to be in that line too.
Yep.
Mine's too young though, so.
Well, no, we've been in the war since high school.
Yeah, 2000. Well, 2001,
2002,
right?
I guess, or one, whatever it started. So, yeah, going on 20 years now. So.
And that's all about money. That's all that is.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Anyways, like I said, hate to bring a good talk down, but I was curious to see, because we haven't talked a lot taking the last few weeks off. So it's a shit show.
Oh yeah.
It is. I will make this comment. To see Biden standing in front of it that says office of president-elect? Like, when did we just, like, we can just
It's
randomly,
not an office.
we can just randomly, like, make up branches of government now? No, fuck no, it's
I was gonna
not.
say, I don't remember this
No.
being an office.
This was not on our civics exam, okay? This is that's like me saying this is the office of
Right.
national anus protection.
Sure.
It just so happens to be not. It's in the Midwest, so if anything, if our borders are penetrated, our anuses are not.
We're all fucked. That's how it's gonna go. That's how it's gonna go. Anal probes.
All around.
Anal probe. You get an anal probe.
You get an anal probe.
Okay, Oprah. Alien Oprah.
I'd make a brown joke, but that just seems redundant with Oprah
Frank?
in there. Frank the Tank.
Frank
Frank
Winfrey.
the Tank. Frank the Tank.
Okay. Say that. Anyway.
Listen to me basking on my white bread.
Yeah. You Asians. You brown folk.
I will give it to them. The Indians, I like their food, but you never want to eat that shit on a first date, or even a second, and a close third.
Or go back home.
Oh, that's a night I'll never forget.
There was
I know she hasn't.
where we used to live in Maryville, and I would go for walks around college, and
You smell the curry.
there was the Curry Castle. Where we all lived. And it's like, you can smell it when you get around that corner.
Oh yeah. When they get packages from home
that's them.
in the mail.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Two smells haunt the back of a box truck.
We
Skunks.
likely don't have any
Weed.
Indian.
And curry. That's it.
Yeah. I think we might have, I don't know. I haven't looked at the map lately. But we're in countries now. So India, we hear you.
Yeah. Unless it's one of those VPN or whatever.
Yeah. We smell you later. Yep.
Well,
Oh, did you have any influential men in your life you want to mention? Or
well, like
I want to give you the opportunity.
no.
I know I am when I get to the end of the episode. I'm like, oh yeah, I was going to say something about that. And that.
Right, and that's how we end up with 2-hour episodes.
True.
They could go 4, honestly, if we really wanted them to.
True.
You know, like I said, I've always said, you know, Ben, Mom's current husband, Mike, he's a great guy, and I don't think I've really ever mentioned him before, but God, he's a damn savior to put up with my mother some days. I already told her she's going in home if she's not living with me. Love my mother to death, but
We all love your mother.
yeah. Fuck you guys.
It goes back to high school.
I've had, you know, when we worked at Eveready, those guys that we worked with out there,
Oh my god.
I don't think they'll ever realize how much of an influence that they.
Yeah.
And hopefully everybody has that job sometimes when they're a young man where they
Right.
learn to love the shit a little bit.
Timing was everything.
Yeah.
For that.
And you're picking up.
We were like
Yeah.
in the perfect age for.
And at that age, you don't want to listen to your folks.
Right.
But for whatever reason, advice from strangers seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
So,
Same age group.
Yeah.
Same sentiment.
Right.
But it's like it's
different.
more of a fun,
Right.
I guess.
Right.
I don't know.
And then over the years, like I said, scarily enough, the guy I bought the tank wagon off of, Bill, and even the mail route, Kaiser. When there's been moments where I've learned stuff from him just because I think he's honestly an old hippie or something. Maybe he's got a little hippie in him. Maybe because he takes stuff just so. That sucks, but yeah, that's part of it. Kind of, and you're just like.
Thanks for calming me down.
You just blew up a $10,000 engine, but okay, yeah, cool, whatever, no big deal.
Yeah.
Took that one with a grain of salt. You know, whatever.
You're more worried about the mirror than you are the engine.
Right.
What the fuck,
What
man?
the hell? So,
You guys are just so hard with shit, huh?
I'll never forget the time I told him somebody had broke a window on the mail truck, and what had happened was I pulled the tire chuck, yeah, and it just bounced and went, and I was like, "The fuck just Monty Python happened to this?" You know.
Perfect shot.
Yeah, that's a bad deal. But yeah, I'd say most of my mail influences come from people I worked with and a few select, family members, but mostly people I've worked with over the years. Of course, the grandpa dying early. We talked about that. You're always competing with a ghost kind of thing.
Right.
You're picking up the good habits that people talk about. None of the bad habits.
No, they never had a bad habit, did
Nope.
they?
Nope.
Yeah.
So,
wait, I hear he drank all the time. Yeah, but he was a good drinker.
Yeah, he could really hold his alcohol. Those would be mine. The guys I've mentioned privately over the years, I guess.
Yeah. And I think, I know I've mentioned my dad on here before, but maybe not so specifically. But I think at times, especially like lately, it's like, nothing is beneath you. No matter how high you get.
Right.
Remember that everybody's on an equal playing field.
Right. That's what you make out of it.
Yeah. And I don't know. A lot of stuff like that. He was always working in a factory, and that's how I got started in factories. And so back in the factories in a different role.
In a different area.
Yeah, but I know how to deal with those people because it's a different atmosphere, from a factory to an office.
Oh yeah.
And, it's interesting.
Well, sure.
It's all adults, but it's different. It's different.
I will say you run into those same people at the post office. They get into jobs that pay well with no life experience, and it's And I'm not even saying I'm the most life experience. I'm just saying you can definitely tell a mentality different, and it seems to be when they get there long enough, then not only do they have that mentality, but then they also have seniority, which leads to entitlement, and you're just like, wow.
Yeah, that's the other thing about the whole union thing down there. It's like, wow, you see a lot of seniority and entitlement following, and it's like,
I understand the point of a union, but at this point in our timeline, I don't think unions are as necessary as they were 100 years ago. We're not facing child laws. There's no minimum wage, gap, whatever, where the factory's like, we're going to pay you 3 cents an hour.
Yeah. Take it or leave.
Yeah. I mean, there's the government, unfortunately, stepped in on that. I think that's a horrible thing, but
you would think the market would just keep up with it.
Right. But yeah, when you got people filing a union grievance and it takes like 4 or 5 years, and then they get all that back pay and they take that money and go out and buy a car with it and pay cash, there's a fucking problem with the union.
That's a problem. Yep.
Oh. That went from mentorship to bitching about a union. Man, we cover a scope of things in this podcast, and that's why you should be listening.
Hey, if you didn't turn off after the Frank conversation,
Frank,
maybe thanks for sticking around, I guess.
That's what Frank said too. Or that's what I told Frank.
You're really stubborn, Frank.
Yeah, I rubbed.
You ain't going nowhere.
I didn't even use lube. I was really dry. No, wouldn't come off. Nothing. Sodomy. Sodomy.
That could be a song too. Anyway, well, we're gonna finish this bottle. No, I better not. But we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, we're back at it.
Oh yeah.
And thanks for holding on. If you're back listening, thanks for holding on.
Sorry,
did you ever post anything on Facebook?
I did.
Okay. I'm not on Facebook.
It was a little late, but I did. It was like, hey, y'all might be missing this. I don't know. Anyway, I got the COVID, and we're over. I didn't get the COVID. My son did, but now we're over it, and we'll be back.
We'll be back right after these messages.
Yeah. After words from our sponsors. I don't have any shout outs this week, I guess.
I don't really either. Like I said, I do appreciate it. It seems like the consistent listeners we have are family. And for me, anyways, on my side, it'd be like Wes and the guys down at Gibson's.
Yeah.
Those are our consistent listeners, and I'm fine with that.
I was going to say, speaking of music, Wade.
Wade. Yeah.
That's about music. And I listened to one tonight. I listened to Corbin Lund.
Right.
Corblund. Corbin Lund. He's got a shirt that says, "What the fuck is a Corbin Lund?" But anyway, he's a Canadian country singer. And
Is that an oxymoron?
I've got no, he's from the other side.
The other side.
He's from the mountains. He's from the mountains. And but he's really been kind of taken into the red dirt scene and all that, and Colorado and all that. But he's got a song I listened to tonight, and I was like, oh, the guys down at Gibson's might like this. He's got a song called "Hard on Equipment," and it's about this guy that's like, he gets things done, but he might not do it right. He uses a wrench for a hammer, and it's
we all know that guy.
Yeah, it's like, well, he gets it done, but So Corb Lund, "Hard on Equipment," and he's kind of I'd kind of compare him to like a Jerry Reed kind of. Kind of the kind of honky tonk country, but like kind of comedy based
too
at times. It's kind of tongue in cheek.
He's got some good.
And he's got some really good ones too.
Deep ones,
Yeah, one left in the chamber.
Oh yeah.
Don't listen to that on a lonely night.
Might get lonelier.
Yeah.
What was the one I sent you there last week or a week or two ago that you heard? What was it, Zach Bryan?
Yeah.
And it was traveling. He's got one.
Wait on Pain was the other one that you sent me.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah. Let's see if I can find it real here on my Whitey Morgan of the 78.
Whitey Morgan, yeah. They play at Knuckleheads quite a bit, actually.
I'd like to get down there sometime.
Yeah.
If this crap ever passes.
Yeah, God, it's got to.
You would think.
There's got to be concerts again, man.
Lord, I hope so. Zach Bryan, Bryan.
Probably no relation.
He's got an album called Quiet Heavy Dreams came out with this year.
Yeah.
My favorite song off of it's called Traveling Man. We all got something that we're running from inside.
That's true.
Yeah, and I was like, I think everybody's got.
Speaking of burying it down.
Yeah, I think everybody's got something to say, or something to say, or something the way they feel that maybe they hoard inside a little bit, and don't let the world see so much. Mine is my narcissistic asshole side, and I'm really trying to keep that inside, and I hope nobody sees it.
Nobody sees it. Well, now that we got a video,
right?
They just heard it before. That just reminds me of Maxine.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World. Yeah.
Show
Wayne. Anyway.
On that note,
We're dating ourselves here. That's probably a classic now.
Oh, I'm sure, but I've been dating myself since that was about the time it came out.
True, guys. Rosie. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks for hanging on.
Cheers.